lovely people, Charlotte from Not Shabby by Charlotte here. I thought I'd put together a short video series to help walk you through the Fusion colour range. So I'm your Nottingham Fusion mineral paint stockist and I use the paint every day. I love it. I use it to upcycle my customers' furniture, working on bespoke commissions and renovating kitchens, and I also help a lot of my customers with their projects. And a lot of my conversations start with, what colour do we want? So the Fusion mineral paint range has 52 colours. They're all mixable and blendable, so you can create any colour that your heart desires, but sometimes too much choice is a little bit challenging, you don't know where to start. So because I use these colours every day and I know them inside out, I thought I'd walk you through them. So I'm going to do 5 videos. I'm going to do one of the creams, the whites, the creams and the browns, one of the greys all the way through to black, one of the blues, one of the greens, and one of all the warm tones, the yellows, the reds, the oranges, the corals. So let's start today with the whites. I should also mention, as well as this video, there are other ways to help you choose your colours. So for £2.99, you can purchase this True Colour card, which has really good size swatches, which are true to colour, true to texture. They show you the exact shade that your paint is going to dry to. Got loads of top tips and things on it as well, so that's really helpful. You can find those on my website. You could also buy a tester, which is £4.75. That's 37 mils. It looks tiny, but it goes a long way, trust me. So if you want to see how the colour is going to work out in your light, how it's going to compare to your furnishings, you could use a tester. The full size pots are 500 ml when you decide to go for it. They go miles. I can paint a kitchen in 2 pots of this. That's how far that goes. They're great. And then last but not least, we've got the Fusion fan deck. So that has got much larger swatches, and it's great to be able to swivel them around, to play about with colour compositions, colour schemes and that kind of thing. So they are £19.99. I have put a hair bubble around there so I don't get confused, and separated off the whites and the creams for you. So I'm going to start off with the palest, brightest white. I'll work my way all the way through to chocolate and sort of walk you through the characteristics of each shade. So first things first, the first one we've got is Picket Fence. Picket Fence is the brightest white. So if you want a true white, that is the white to go for. And then next up, we've got Casement. Now, if you put those together, you can see they're really similar. Casement is also a very true white. It just has the tiniest bit of warmth in it. So Fusion likes to give you lots of choice. When you put these next to your other components in your room, you might see slight differences. One might work slightly better with your decor, but they're very similar. I would just say the Picket Fence is bright white. Casement has just the tiniest bit of warmth to it. I would say I always use Casement as a good match to IKEA furniture. So say people have got an IKEA TV unit in their living room and they've got another piece of furniture that they've bought in that they want to paint to match. Casement is a good match to that. Then next up, I'm going to do these in order of light to dark. So then we've got Raw Silk. Raw Silk is a beautiful sort of vintage, versatile white. When you put it next to these, it looks like it's got a sort of cream tone to it, but in isolation on its own, it's still a white. It's just not a bright white, it's a nice warm white. So it goes with everything. I wouldn't say that Raw Silk was particularly a vintage shade or particularly a modern contemporary shade. It really is versatile. It's one of the most popular choices by my customers. I do a lot of kitchens in Raw Silk because it's going to go with lots of tones. So say for example you're painting your furniture, you're painting your kitchen in it, you're not limited to a colour scheme forever. You can paint your walls green, a few years later you can paint them blue, a few years later you can paint them grey. Like, it's going to match and complement nearly every tone, Raw Silk, so that is a great one. Then next, I would say the next one is, I've lost it, where's it gone? There we go. Goddess Ashwagandha is a real fave of mine. Now, these are all going to look very slightly different in different lights, depending on if the light in your room is a natural daylight or a synthetic light bulb. But you see here that it's a little bit greyed off. Now again, because we've started with the brightest white, that looks quite grey there, but if you take those away, and then lift them this way because I've put hair on. So not going to work. Okay, we'll take them that way. if you put it on its own, you can see it is still a white. It's just a lovely nature-inspired soft sort of greyed off. I think it's got a lovely sort of modern contemporary stone shade to it. So Goddess Ashwagandha is from the Lisa Marie Home range, which is one of my favourite range, the newest range in the fusion paint. And it's all inspired by natural herbs, and it's all lovely colours that, how do I word this? The thought behind it, the meaning behind it is that your environment lifts your mood. So these lovely nature-inspired shades are calming and therapeutic, and when you come home from work and you've had a long day, they make you feel at home and they make you feel relaxed. So there you go, Goddess Ashwagandha. Next, let's work, which one would I say was next? Let's go to Champlain. So I would say that Champlain is starting to get more into the creams rather than being a white. So if you put it next to raw silk, I would say Champlain has a lot of the properties of raw silk. Here's your raw silk and here's your Champlain. Has a lot of the same qualities. It isn't really particularly yellow undertoned, it isn't particularly pink or grey undertoned. It is a lovely, versatile, neutral. It's just slightly deeper in shade. So if you'd rather be leaning towards a cream than a white, then Champlain is a good choice. Whereas, you see, if we move on to limestone, when you put those next to each other, you can see that here's Champlain that we were just talking about, and there's your limestone. You can see that limestone is very much yellow undertones. So that is for if you wanted a very traditional look. Traditional creams back in the old days always had yellow undertones. That was the fashion then. So if you're looking for, you've got all the yellow elements in your scheme, or you want that warmth to lift your scheme, then limestone is the colour for you. And then moving on to Plaster, you can see that Plaster is sort of similar. It's got the yellow tones to it, but it's a little bit deeper, so we're starting to move on to more of the taupes. So I wouldn't say it's quite as yellow and fresh as limestone. It's a little bit more greyed off, the Plaster, but you can see the difference when you pop those two next to each other there. I hope you guys find this helpful. And then we move on to Buttermilk Cream. Now you look at that and say that that is quite a bright yellow. When you put it next to the paler shades, it does look yellow. It will also feature in my yellow collection. But depending on what you put it next to, if you put Buttermilk Cream next to some of the very dark shades, then it will read as a cream, hence why it's called Buttermilk Cream. So it's just a lovely, rich, fully saturated yellow toned cream shade. So there's your Buttermilk Cream. What do we have next? So we've still got, you see how much choice there is? There's a cream for every project. We've already been through, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've already been through 8 creams and we've still got like 6 left. So next we have Lamp White. So let me go back and show you a little bit of a comparison. If we go to sort of the original, we're going back to the whites now. You can see, so here we've got Picket Fence, Casement, Raw Silk and Lamp White. We're going back to, these are all shades of white. We've worked our way through the yellows and now I'm going to show you some of the different undertones. So Lamp White is still a white, but this is more greyed off. It's a palest grey. So it's just a white with grey undertones. So if you're looking to make your, add a cool tone to your colour scheme, you're looking to pair it with another grey and it to be very harmonious and sort of flow through, Lamp White, oh, dropped it. Lamp White is the way to go. What do we have next? Then we have Bedford. So Bedford is a really lovely neutral sort of mid-tone. We're going to a mid-tone shade again here. This one has green undertones, so I would say it's got a very slight khaki-ness about it. So if you put it next to its complementary shade, which would be a red, it will really accentuate those green tones in it, whereas if you put it with something else green, it will be more harmonious and it will sit sort of more softly. So when I'm talking about the undertones in these colours, I'm not saying that there's any rules that you have to follow. I personally think you can put any colour with any colour. It's all about personal taste. Do you want to pick things that are in the same family, so it's very, I keep using the word harmonious, but it's all very mellow and it all works nicely together? Or do you want your colour scheme to pop a little bit more and your accent to be a little bit more vibrant? In that case, you would pick complementary colours from other sides of the colour wheel. So there you go, you have Bedford, which is slightly green. I would say this is great if you're looking for a heritage feel. So you want a neutral that's going to be very sort of traditional and heritage and a bit like lovely with dark wood and tartans and that kind of thing. So that is Bedford. Next, what do we have? Okay, let's go on to Cathedral Talk. So if I put these three together, I think this will explain what I'm trying to say to you. These are all cream shades, but when you put them together, they're all the same kind of tone, which means the same kind of darkness. They're all sort of a mid-range tone, but you can see that Limestone is very much yellow undertone cream. Bedford is very much a green toned cream, and Cathedral Talk has pink undertones. So if I put those together so you can sort of see, if I take those two away, Cathedral Talk is a real favourite of mine. It is a lovely homey shade. It warms up. Personally, I'm not drawn to yellows, are not my fave, but the pink undertones in it just really lift a colour scheme, and I think give you those happy vibes and always look nice and fresh. So if you're looking for a pink toned neutral, Cathedral Talk is the one. What do we have left? Putty. Putty, I've just finished painting a kitchen in putty today. So putty is, I'd say, was in the same family as raw silk and champagne. Putty is your slightly darker shade, so it is very versatile, very neutral sort of taupe beige colour. Whatever colour you put it next to, it doesn't fight. It doesn't. They don't contradict each other. It works really well in all the colour schemes. It's great in a modern colour scheme that you want to lift. It's great next to traditional fabrics. It's just an all-rounder. I don't think you can really go wrong with colour scheme, with putty in your colour scheme. It goes great with all types of metalwork. It looks lush with brass. Great colour. Wow, so now that we move on to the two darker shades, so we've got Algonquin and Chocolate. Chocolate speaks for itself. It's a lovely, you can see it like a lovely, rich, deep chocolate shade. Chocolate is great to use all of the colours. You can water down and use as a wash, but say you want to slightly darken your wood and give sort of a walnut dark wood effect. Watered down chocolate is great to use as a stain. And then you have Algonquin, which is just, and read you what it says on the back, an ode to all things natural and true. Algonquin is a deep taupe that has an incredible tendency of taking on different tones depending on the light source of the room. That's just a lovely, warm taupe shade. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. I could talk about these colours for hours, but who wants to watch a video of me for hours? So I'll try to keep it sort of short and sweet. But that is me walking you through the 14 shades from the Fusion range that I have categorised as being from white through cream, taupe to chocolate. I hope that was helpful, and I'm also going to do the other little videos that I told you about earlier, the greys, the greens, the blues, the reds, yellows and oranges. So as always, message me, call me if you need anything. Thanks for watching, hope that helped, bye.